Hi.
Hello.
I'm in like Flynn, and we have the blonde doctor, Alicia Dukov.
Dukov, yes. Nice to
Dukov.
see you guys.
Yes.
Flynn has asked me back. I'm honored.
Yes.
And I can't wait to get started tonight and see what we get into.
So hopefully Eric will throw the topic across, but if not, she's a doctor, MFT, and you're a PSY?
A PsyD, yeah.
A PsyD.
I'm MFT, so I'm a professional licensed marriage and family therapist.
Yep.
I see a lot of couples and individuals mainly, but I've done family, which I love.
And then you also are a
and
PhD,
then
right?
I'm a PsyD, so
PsyD.
that's like PhD. The only difference in the doctorate is that for PhD, it's more research-based.
Right.
And then PsyD is more hands-on clinical. So I never wanted to do my own research.
Okay,
so I'm a PsyD.
So the topic, we really tried to think about what we're like so close we're gonna kiss.
I think it was just to have an introduction, just to be like, "Hi guys, I'm back. We're back. We're gonna get nice and intimate."
So I talked to a firefighter today. I talked to my brother, and I talked to another friend. And it seems like, with your expertise, they wanted to know, all three of them, today, all were like, I hope that does not, is that going to happen through the whole thing? Oh gosh, goodness gracious.
I don't know, but people are starting to join. So
I know.
We can have a few minutes of just like meandering and talking while people start to join.
Okay.
And what I'm going to do, which I think is above you, like this is going to be better, because then...
So I'm basically at your chest level?
Or you can sit up, like this, because if you want it cozy, that's one thing.
Okay, we want cozy.
But then we want to be able to talk to each other too without looking like we're about to make out.
Well, actually, that might actually help.
We can bring in people like that.
Yeah.
So we can start to get intimate in other ways throughout the session.
Or we can look. If it's too weird, we can look.
But so tell them what you brought me on for.
Oh yeah, so we want her back because she was awesome last time. Everybody loved you.
Yay. Hope you guys learned something.
Yes, absolutely. But the thing,
see, I like that glow.
Yes,
that's a better.
Who doesn't like the afterglow?
I need to keep the glow. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, my thing is losing its erection. Okay, so right. Yes.
That works.
So the question they wanted to know. This is not going to be an easy one.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I
ready
am
for a
so
challenge?
For it. Yeah, I love challenges.
Okay. They want to know. One person was married. One person is in and out of a relationship, and the other one is divorced. Twice.
Okay. One person's married, one's in and out, and one's divorced. Okay.
Yep. And they all three wanted to know, with your professional, experience in studying, when is it time to fold them? When do you end the relationship?
Okay.
That's a tough one.
Well, you would think it's tough because everybody has different stories.
Right.
And different levels of connection with those partners. And also different backgrounds based on where they've come from, what their traumas are. Okay, we could overcomplicate it.
Right.
But actually I have a really simple answer for it, regardless of whether you've been with somebody for a long time, whether you're in and out of dating, or trying to find a partner and in and out and like it doesn't work.
Is this like a one-size-fits-all?
I'm going to make it a one-size-fits-all. I've had enough experience with one-size-fits-all that it's not even about the size. It's about what you do with it.
Okay. Right? Well, I don't know if I 100% agree on that.
It's what you do with it. And that's the answer. So,
she's sticking to it.
The one-size-fits-all approach on this question, when do you fold it? When do you know to fold it? Doesn't matter how long you've been with the person. Is your self-worth starting to get jeopardized? Okay, so your self-worth is a concept that we may not actually know much about in ourselves. You may not know so much about your self-worth, but when you start to go on that journey inside to actually see, like, what does it mean to have self-worth? What does my self-worth feel like? Do I have self-worth? Is a really good first question to ask. What it feels like when it's starting to get compromised or jeopardized is when you see yourself continually giving in to things that just don't feel good in your heart. If your needs are not getting met, your basic needs, this is not you being, over needy. This isn't you being like like high maintenance. This is just human basic needs of affection, attention, connection, okay? Just connection with somebody that you feel like they know you. There are 8 billion people, right, just in this country alone. Right. What makes you their person? What makes them your person? And if they know you, if they spend time getting to know you, they'll know the ways to your heart, and they'll know how to protect it and how to hold it.
So for people out there that are in a relationship, is it good right now?
For now. Yeah, it's going to lose its direction again. But every time it does, I'll reach out and hold it.
Yes.
I'll make it firm again.
Yes.
Don't worry.
Yes. So, okay, so we've got...
I have a nice metaphor for it. You want to hear?
Well, so you gave us a lot. So dumb it down for some of us. When... So dumb it down. When is it time for a marriage to end? Let's go married. Let's go big or go home.
Okay.
You've been married for 30 years. When do you say to your client, I think that
I never say.
Okay.
A therapist should never tell you when it's over, ever. We are not fairies with like wands that will make your relationship work.
Wouldn't it be great if you could?
Wouldn't it be great if we could do that in our own lives too? We are literally there to help you see your own truth, help you find your way to your own truth, and then be able to communicate that truth with your partner. First with yourself, then with your partner. Well, you always fold when you're showing, says 2 and 8, your opponent is showing, oh, cool, I love poker analogies for relationships.
Well, I did say when to fold them.
Yeah. Actually, seriously, Jake, your smart-ass comment's so fun. I loved all the rest of them last time. But you're actually way more poignant on this than you realize. Poker and relationships are perfectly connected in how you can use the metaphors. How to hold a poker face, most people do that.
Yeah,
you dated somebody that has a poker face on, you don't know how they fucking feel, and you're sitting there going, does he like me? Do they not like me? Okay, we fake it all the time in orgasms or whatever. There's so many...
I don't fake it.
Right, because you're...
I swear to God, I don't fake it.
Yeah, but you're real with it. You're real.
I swear to God, I've never faked an orgasm, I swear.
And that's awesome. Because...
Why?
Maybe
Why?
Because you're in the game, I guess. You're for real.
Why would I fake one? See, I don't even get why the light's really good right now. I don't get if the bitch has 5 aces. Why are we saying bitch?
Or 5 faces. So let's get back to this. This is a great question. About
why does it have to be marriage? Okay, sorry.
Right, exactly.
Okay. You're on.
I like it. There are 3 different kinds, because if you've been married for 30 years, obviously
you've got a good poker face.
And you've learned how to fake it.
Yeah.
And you've learned,
fake an orgasm? Have you ever faked an orgasm?
Oh, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I would not
in
think
the past. Now I don't have to, because my husband's learned his way into my vagina in the most perfect way. But yeah, I've faked it before.
Wow. Okay. Total sidebar. We'll go back to when to hold and when to leave.
How about this question? This is great. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. How about...
Let's go for the ones that are single and you're dating and you're with somebody for a little bit, and the question is more pertinent because maybe you haven't made a whole commitment for 30 years. That's a whole different topic, right? And we should address that. When is it time to fold in a 30-year relationship?
And when it's time to fold in a 5.5 on and off.
Yes.
On and off relationship for 5 years.
On and off. So when it's time to fold is generally when you feel like your needs, no matter how hard you've tried, no matter how hard you've worked at communicating what those needs are, you've done your own personal work to figure out what that is.
That's important. Do your personal work first.
Yes.
I agree.
You've done your own personal work to figure out what is my truth? What are the things I need to feel loved, to feel stable, to feel connected to with this person?
Right.
What do I need in myself to feel loved and connected to and stable? You need to ask yourself those questions. If you come to the table with the person you're dating and you bring this information to them in one way or another.
Like, I need this, I need
this. And they basically say, fuck you. Or even worse, they say, okay, and then don't do it. And you feel like you constantly have to come back and like say, well, hey, we talked about this. I need this. If they're not following through, your self-worth starts to get compromised for yourself. This isn't about the other person. You've done this work to come home to your heart, to figure out what you need. You've done this really hard work to learn how to communicate it. How to communicate our truths is like really difficult. That takes a lot of internal work. By the time you do this, if you have to keep coming back to the table to say, hey, I thought we talked about this. This is literally the roadmap to my heart, okay? Literally, here are the places not to hurt me. Here's the center of that map. It's the most vulnerable place in me. It's my heart. If you take this avenue or this avenue, it gets destroyed. Please don't do that. Please don't take those roads. Please don't piss on it here.
Right.
It's not too hard to ask somebody that you love or that you hope to love to do that. But if they're not listening, if they're not paying attention, if they're continuing to walk on the road that you said not to, if they're not holding your heart properly, these are moments for you to look in yourself and go, I have to hold my heart. That ends up teaching you that you're your greatest love. Okay?
You were good about that last time talking about self-love.
Self-love. It's what it's all about. It's what relationships are actually supposed to teach us.
Oh.
You're supposed to learn how to love yourself through the other person. You're not supposed to love the other person more than yourself. And it sounds like a really selfish concept.
It does.
It's not.
It does.
It's the opposite. The more you love yourself, the more love you can give your partner. And when they're doing their own work and loving themselves, the more love they can give you. And you can come to the table organically throughout your growing relationship to say, here are my needs. Here's what's not being met. Here's what needs to change. Here's how I feel, here's what I want. Here's what I want to see us growing in. You guys can have these beautiful organic conversations together because you're both home inside and you both know how to do the work. There's nothing more beautiful than connecting and communicating with your partner about your needs.
And hearing their needs too, right?
Fold and hear theirs.
Yeah.
But when you have two partners that are coming doing the same work, when you both come to the table to say, here's my need. I'm going to listen to you and hold this space for how you feel. I want to be able to take that truth in. I may not see it right away, but I promise I'm going to do the work to do this. And then here are my needs, and you're going to have to hold the space for them. There's nothing more beautiful than that. Here's where you fold, is when after you've had evolved. Numerous.
Yeah.
And those conversations are pretty evolved. It takes a lot of work to sit down at a table and talk. It takes a lot of work to not just have a poker face and live life like a zombie and just walk through and go through the motions and watch your Netflix at night and not talk to each other.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of work to talk to each other.
It does.
It takes a lot of work to show up.
It does.
To show up and be vulnerable and real and hear somebody else being vulnerable and real and take that in. When to fold is if you're the type of person that's ready to do that work. And they're not. That's my answer. And that's why it's a one-size-fits-all. That's when you realize, you know what? I'm more evolved than this person. And if it wasn't for me realizing that in the face of somebody not willing to do the same work I am, I wouldn't see that in myself. So now I bless this person. I give them lots of love. Good luck to you on your journey. I'm out of here.
I know.
And I'm going to take my self-worth I've just learned from you not giving me any.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I'm going to take my knowledge
and do a better job.
And do a better job. And keep what I've just realized in myself, that I actually do know how to communicate my own needs. I do know what my needs are, thanks to you not giving them to me. And now I know I can take that with me and hopefully find somebody
that's willing to
that's like on my level. Yeah. That's it.
I love that.
That's why it's a one-size-fits-all. Now, it's a little bit harder if you've been married 30 years, you got kids, mortgage, and your whole lives are locked in together, and it's definitely hard to do that.
So this person said to me, he said, had great 30 years together. We're the best of friends. Yeah, we'll go to that.
Yeah.
We're the best of friends, but the passion is gone. So what do you do?
To re-spark the passion.
Yeah.
So
what do you do when you have a couple that has been married for 30 years and they're coming to you and they're saying, hey, look, we go on trips and we're in front of it.
Best friends.
And we're in front of the TV. We're not consummating the relationship.
Well,
what do you do?
That's also definitely something that happens in life. I think it's really easy for that to happen. Yeah, it's very, very common.
After 30 years of marriage?
Yes, and sometimes nowadays, after a year of marriage.
Do you find that?
Yeah, a lot of younger couples.
After a year, they're already done?
They're not sticking it out these days. And
but is it because of the
cultural
Tinder
norms have changed? Yeah, okay. You're not getting the idea of staying with a marriage is changing.
it's almost expected that it's not going to work. Would you say, in a way?
Yes, there are a lot of people not getting married now or not believing in the institution of marriage because the way that the laws of marriage are set up are really heinous.
Meaning?
Getting yourself divorced. You bring the courts in, and it's horrible. It's a horrible process for people. People are not believing in the institution of marriage anymore like it was once a very upheld belief in society in the old days. There's good sides to that and bad sides to that. Bad sides meaning you're putting in less effort because it's so easy to get a divorce. But the good sides are that people are more aware now that they have many choices and that they don't have to sign a doomsday release form on their soul once they marry somebody. That's not it for life.
A doomsday release form.
It's like a release form of your soul. It's like, well, I've signed on the line. That's it for life, as miserable as I'm going to be. And it used to be that way for some people. They thought if they were forced into marriage, cultures changed. It used to be that you couldn't get married after the age of 26, otherwise you'd be an old maid. In certain cultures.
Oh, wow.
Including this one. This is a puritanical society we were formed off of, you realize. America was originally pilgrim and puritanical. This is obviously when the white man came in. But it was based off of...
Smart. She's a smart one.
It was based off of Christian values. And in the book, you marry and you procreate. Right. And you have a family.
Right.
This is what you did and do. There are certain cultures that keep this up.
Right.
There are really good things to it. But on a whole, in today's modern society, we are not collectively upholding it.
No.
And there's good things to that, which means you have your own personal freedom.
Yeah.
You can be single now and autonomous and rock yourself all through your life. You can
What does that mean, rock yourself?
Well, you rock your jock. You're a woman that's single and I'm rocking it and I'm doing my career and I've got my friends and I've got my life and I can do what I want.
That's called rocking your jock.
That's rocking your jock because all women have a jock.
Rocking
it's easier
your
to run
jock.
Oh, can we go back to that? Amazing.
Yeah.
So Eric Gordon,
he's important. You
wrote something awesome.
No, he's my partner in crime.
Oh, cool. Okay, it's okay to fake it. It helps your partner get there, and you're just not going to.
Okay.
If you really want one, you will help yourself to it, and your partner should be okay with that. If the goal is the O, then should teamwork is okay. Okay. First of all, absolutely love this comment.
Isn't he cool?
I'm going to tell you why. Eric, thank you for commenting that. First of all, one thing I love about my own sex life with my husband is that we're both in it to win it. We both go in really charged and we're having a lot of fun with it. And the orgasm is never the end result that we're looking for.
Ooh.
We're in it to just enjoy the sensations together. When we have quickies, I want him to come. Like I like draining the snake in the morning. I like sending him off to work with a spring in his step, and I've drained the snake, and he's a happy boy, and he goes about his day, and it gives him energy.
The snake.
It gives him energy to start his day.
Rock your jock, drain the snake.
Yes. And,
okay, I'm learning lots of new terms.
But women come differently to men. We're not as easy to orgasm. So sometimes there's not time for that, right? Okay. So what I sometimes do, and oftentimes we're really good. He and I do come together a lot, but like, at times, if he's come before me, I lay there next to him after he's like heaving and exhausted and his dick is very happy and like twitching and just like done. Do you know what I mean? And I lay there and I finish myself off in front of him. And that's really hot.
You don't fake it, right?
No.
Okay.
No, and I never fake it with my husband. He actually knows how to make me squirt and all of it. But he went on his own journey for that to figure that out too.
Ooh.
Now, yeah, that's a good lover. Is not one that knows how to make you orgasm. How the heck could they possibly know right off the bat? They're the ones that explore you. They explore with you.
Oh.
They don't give you room or time to have a poker face or a fake one because you're actually in it authentically together. That's how you know you have a good sexual partner. And believe me, our sexual chemistry has helped us not divorce many times. Do not underestimate the importance
I heard that
of sexual chemistry.
I've heard many women who are happily married say sex is the glue.
It's very important.
It's the glue.
It's so important. It's underestimated about how important it is, but yeah, it's like the key to it is the glue. When you want to kill your partner and they want to kill you equally, and believe me, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And you love them to pieces, but you still want to kill them because they're so annoying in some way or they're not listening to you or whatever. or you don't feel heard. All the marriage stuff.
You have me on the not feeling heard. That's
The
number
marriage
one.
stuff.
Number one. If you don't feel heard, forget it.
Yes, well, it's not really forget it, because when you love somebody, it's not as easy as that.
Yeah, I know.
You're willing to put in the work, which wraps back around to our topic.
Yes.
When do you fold? After you've put in all the work and it's still not getting any better, you start to think to yourself, do I love this person more than myself? Because I'm deteriorating here. I've done everything and they're not following along. So when you start to ask yourself those questions, why am I staying if I'm not getting my needs met, if I'm putting in all this effort and they know what the effort is, I'm trying to get them to work with me and they're still not, am I starting to love this? Am I starting to realize I love this person more than I love myself? That's a very good question to sit within yourself. And the day that you realize it's done, it's something apparently very monotonous. Like you're getting gas in your car, you're in the shower, and all of a sudden you're like,
I'm done.
Done.
Yeah.
And it's not D-O-N-E, I call it D-U-N, done. It's not a D-O-N-E done, because E is a vowel, which means it's open-ended. It's a full-on fucking consonant.
D-U-N.
D-U-N. I'm done. And it's not a big, like, explosion of fireworks and like, I'm leaving, I'm packing my stuff, I'm throwing myself out onto the pavement. It's not. It's like a really loving, like, I'm thanking you for all the times we've had together. I thank you for what you showed me or taught me, and I'm done. And good luck to you. That's how you know it's real in yourself.
If you're still angry, then it's not done.
And you could have things to process later in your own way. And you go to workshops and you talk to your friends and you go to a therapist and all of that. But inside yourself, it's a very centered choice. And that's why you're not throwing your shit out on the sidewalk when you're doing it. Usually the throwing the shit out on the sidewalk kind of moments where you're like, I'm done. They're not real. You're not done. Kind of like, I'm going to kill myself. You're not going to kill yourself. It's the ones that are quiet that don't tell you. I'm going to kill myself is a statement of somebody that doesn't want to kill themselves. They want help. They want connection. They need help.
Yeah.
Okay, so you want to hear signs like that and take it seriously from people when they say, I'm going to kill myself. Don't be like, oh yeah, right. No, that's when you're thrilled to say that they were somebody that they said that to you, that you're their cry for help. Okay, so anyway, it's the same psychology. If you're making a big fuss about something and you're throwing their shit out on the sidewalk, you're not actually done. I agree. It's the day that you know you're D-U-N done. It's not a big to-do. It's like, hey, I love you, but I can't, or I'm done. If you're just dating somebody, you're like, hey, thanks anyway, I'm done.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I'm going to interject on that.
Yeah.
Is that when you... This is how you know you're over somebody. Like if you said, oh, I heard your fiance or your ex-fiance got married. I was like, oh, really? He did? Oh, okay. Oh, did you see did you hear the news? What happened yesterday? That's somebody who's over.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Like, if she said, oh, by the way, your boyfriend in college, he got, whatever. But if I'm like, oh, I don't care that he got married or I don't. If there's any hint of anger, you still love.
Yes.
You still love that person.
Right, or defensiveness.
Yeah. If you're just like, I hope my ex...
Yeah,
in my
he's
case,
happy.
Yeah, like my ex-fiancé...
Not like can't believe what that... I can't believe that news. Look what she did to me.
Yeah, if you're speaking illy of your ex and you're talking about it,
it's not over.
Not over. You're... To me, and I'm not a professional like you, but I've gone to enough therapy.
And dated enough, probably.
Yeah, is that when you're really done, is you're not talking about it. You're just not talking about it.
You're just done.
You're just you're D-U-N.
D-U-N, done.
If you're still talking about the guy or girl, you ain't over them.
Well, and that's okay. It doesn't mean over them. You could be over them, but not over the feelings that you have to process about what they did. That's when you see a therapist. Or you've got some good friends that listen over lunch a lot.
Yeah.
But then at one point they're like, please go see a therapist. I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, I'm done. I'm D-U-N done.
I literally, I'll disclose this. When I was first dating my fiance, my second and third fiance, he would talk about his ex-wife all the time.
Oh, it's so annoying.
And we were like newly dating.
No.
And I just said to him, look, I really like you, but I think I said something very cheesy, like, like here's a quarter. It was cheesy.
Here's
like
a quarter.
Call a friend. Like I
Call
don't
hotline. Yeah.
Like just like look, we're newly dating. Well, that should have been a sign that he wasn't over her. But anyway, I felt.
I mean, that's something good when you're in maybe 2 or 3 weeks into dating somebody. You do want to know.
Yeah. You want to know what's up.
Where they've been.
Yes.
What they've learned from that person or that experience. There's healthy ways to discuss that stuff.
Yes.
That is not incessant bringing them up. At which point you're like, oh, honey, you know what? You don't have room in there for me because she's still in there.
Yeah.
She's still in there, like, gnawing away at you. And not that you love her or that you want her back, but you got to process that shit to make room in there for something new.
That's true.
So I'm like standing in the middle of a garden that you haven't cleared out yet.
Yes.
There's no room for me to plant new flowers with you. Let me know when you're ready. That's another way when to fold them. Back to the topic.
Yeah.
Is there such a crowded space in this person that there's no room for you? Right?
Alicia, that was good. That was.
She's getting to know me, guys.
That was really, really, really good. Say that again.
Love that she listens.
Say that again.
So
I do listen. Say it again.
No, you love it. It's great.
Say it again.
Well, is there so much crowded space in the person emotionally that there's no room for anything new? There's no room for you. So how do you know there's crowded space? Well, look inside yourself. Are you full of shit that you haven't processed?
Oh, we're not gonna do this poop. We're not gonna do this poop like we did last time. Going up the hill.
No, but when you go, oh, you know what? That's not my shit. I know the smell of mine. No,
that was funny.
And that's basically the rule. How do you know if you have a lot of crowded space in yourself? You have to look at inside and go like, am I holding on to stuff?
Here's something.
I need to like start to work on.
Here's something. My brother and I did a live stream, and he called me out in front of everybody or whoever's watching. He said, "Flynn, it takes you forever to get over a relationship
because you get into very few, probably."
I don't know. Well, there were kids involved and whatever. We're living together, but. It took me honestly, I haven't really wanted to be in a relationship, a real relationship, since I broke up with my fiance. That was 5 years ago.
Scar you? Is that why? Have you realized why? Or are you commitment phobe in general?
What was the question again?
You're bringing up. It's hard for you to get over a relationship, is what your brother's reflection was.
Well,
and then
especially we were engaged twice. We lived together, raising 2 daughters. I mean, that's a big deal.
That's a lot of stuff going on with that person.
Yeah, so it wasn't like, we were living together. We were practically married.
So here's my 2 cents on that. When you're the type of person
that
doesn't date a lot.
Well, no, I date.
Dating's one thing, but I'm saying investing.
Oh no, we were like married. We were like married.
Yeah,
we were raising his daughters. We were living in the same home.
Right.
It was.
You're not the type that's constantly trying to move in after the 3rd date with somebody. There are people that do that. You're the type that is looking for long-lasting real love, but you're not actively looking for it. There's connection that happens, and it organically just grows, and that probably doesn't happen all the time.
It doesn't happen all the time.
So when it does, it gets all of your attention, and you're going to throw in the whole towel and invest everything in.
I did. I was all in. I was all in.
For you, it was the life meaningful relationship you were going to have, and you were putting in the best of yourself.
I gave everything.
And it sounds like he did to a certain extent.
Yeah.
And that there was some line that got drawn at some point where you just went, this isn't going to work. And that was probably hard for you to do because you invested everything.
Yeah. Well, I think it was because I didn't feel heard.
Okay. Yeah.
At the end of the day, I was like,
we've gone over this.
Yeah. And
we've gone over this. I've said this to you so many times.
And it was like, it's not that he was wrong. He wasn't wrong. It was just the way we handled things was just different.
But too different, I guess.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because different can be good if you can learn from each other.
Yes.
If you can learn each other's languages.
Yeah, the love language.
The 5 love languages helped this concept a lot. Therapists have always said it. Learn each other's languages, but it wasn't until the 5 love languages came out as a concept.
Yeah.
People could define themselves a lot easier in what their priorities are and their needs.
What is yours?
I love affection, but
Me too, touch.
but time, quality time,
Yeah.
and physical affection, which works really well for my husband because him, like most men, their priority is physical affection, physical contact. For men, that's very important. I really liked this sentence here.
He's good.
Frederick said, or become the friend they need and take a break from dating at the same time and use it as a learning experience.
Ooh. Round of applause.
I like the last sentence, use it as a learning experience.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing about everything we do in life. Hence the concept of...
You're a learner too. We're both learners.
Yes. Oh, you're definitely like at the front of the class. Do you know what I mean? You're paying attention in life and what to learn for yourself.
I might overthink and overpay attention.
That's oftentimes the plight of the good student of life, is that we are also overthinkers. But that's its own course. That's its like own elective course, is how to not overthink. And that's where the thought tracking and all the thought stopping that I taught you last time
that was great.
Comes in really handy.
Yes, actually.
So I like his concept there because everything's a learning experience, which hence brings us back to the idea of, are you a crowded person that there's no room for something new to grow?
That was great.
Crowded person really just means, because we're all crowded with stuff, are you working on it actively? You're never somebody that comes with no baggage.
Yes.
But have you handled your baggage? Are you handling your baggage? Are you repacking your stuff in there so it's not lumpy and overweight? And do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does this metaphor make sense?
Yes.
If you know what's in your luggage,
look at,
and you've got a way to carry it, you're coming to the table with a lot of
tools,
good stuff that you can work with in a relationship with somebody.
Right.
If you meet someone that has a lot of potential, and this is oftentimes all people's problems, we fall for potential. We fall for what we know is inside of them because we can see it, or we hope that that's there, but we're not looking at who's really in front of us and what their story is telling us when we see the lumps in their suitcase.
Yeah.
When we see that they don't know how to wheel it. Okay? You can see when somebody's not quite handling their life. When their emotional life is overweighing them. You can see it. You can see it in how they talk. You can see it in how they don't hear you. Right? Are they doing their work? The more work you start doing on yourself, in other words, the more time you've taken to realign and organize things in your own luggage, the more you're learning how to wheel it. The more aware you become of when somebody else doesn't know how, hasn't learned yet.
I think, and tell me if this is accurate. If you're working, let's say you need to lose weight, or you need to get your finances in line, or you need to get over your grandfather dying, whatever it should be, Flynn, maybe you should have sent him to work with an empty snake every day.
Right, draining the snake. It's actually part of my therapy plan. Like, I give that as not homework, but
drain the snake or empty the snake.
Draining the snake. Draining,
I
give it as part of my tips sometimes.
I think
to particular couples, not everybody.
I didn't drain the snake every day with my fiance.
It's a concept that it doesn't hurt, but
no, it's great.
Sometimes you're tired or whatever. Some of these come from my mother, who always said to me, she's like, Diva Supreme, what if your field is empty and plenty of room for plants? I love it. Keep working with my metaphors. I love it. Love it, love it.
Eric's the best.
But you don't want to take care of a garden. Thank you. Okay. So first of all, metaphors.
Oh, I think this is a lovely language, ladies.
Oh,
lovely conversation.
Okay, first of all, I work with metaphors all the time. They are life's gift in symbolism, because when we can take our lives out of ourselves,
right,
and look at it as a story, all of a sudden you get perspective. When I was just talking about how to reorganize your luggage. You got that. It's so much easier to see that than if I were to say, are you working on your personal stuff, and is that person working on their personal stuff in therapy or in treatment? No. It's like, look at it as a story.
Right.
And you can see your whole life openly, and you can use this metaphor and actually keep adding to it. All the metaphors I give, the mountain of life with the backpack, it's the same concept. So I like what he's saying. What if your field is empty and plenty of room for plants? In other words, ready to grow something new.
Yeah.
But you don't want to take care of a garden. Wonderful.
What does he mean?
Okay. So maybe you've had a woman, Eric, who's come along who is over needy, or she takes a lot of time in a way that maybe you're not willing to give, or that you've grown
maybe she
to
needs
not wanting.
Maybe she needs too much watering.
Too much watering or whatever. We have to learn how to water ourselves. Maybe
Truth.
Eric is autonomous. Eric is somebody who's earned his autonomy.
He has.
He's
You're
cleaned
so right.
out. Let me read you, Eric. Ready? Eric has cleaned out a garden before.
Yes.
Eric has done a lot of work on his own to clean out a fucking disaster of a garden.
Yes.
Dead bodies under the ground, other people's stuff, okay? And maybe some of his own.
He needs a cactus.
At least he hasn't become one.
Oh.
Okay? He hasn't guarded himself and is all prickly because he's in this conversation giving an amazing metaphor. Eric, you're going to be a great catch for somebody that's also done equally their own work as you, because by the time they come into your empty cleared space that you have finally cultivated, it is your sanctuary. You have earned every grain of sand in that fucking garden that is clear and clean, and anything you plant there now will be with intention, and you will plant it with purpose, and you will love it, and you will grow it right because it's yours, because you did all this work to clean out this other stuff. You pull out an empty suitcase and start filling it out. You did a lot of work to clean out your garden yourself. Nobody even helped you. So what this means for you is when and if somebody is on your level that can come by and plant things with you in your garden.
He wants a cactus. He's already said it.
Okay.
He wants a low maintenance woman.
Yes, low maintenance is one way to put it, but actually, how about this, Eric? Somebody that may be high maintenance, but they know how to take care of their own needs.
Ooh.
Because they've also done their own work in their own garden to clear out all the dead bodies and the crap and the crud and the debris.
So are you saying that if you've done your own homework, you can make your own self squirt?
Two gardeners together are amazing at hosing.
Can you make your own self squirt?
Yeah.
You can?
Yeah.
Oh, whoa.
But it's much better when somebody else makes you squirt.
Yeah.
No, I like, for me personally, other women may be different.
Wow.
Some women can make themselves squirt across a room.
Oh my goodness.
My husband's and my sheets get unsleepable when he does it on me. Because there's a certain angle to get in to the vagina that when you're like really in there, which only like another person can really do.
Okay.
You just like really release to it. You're making sounds you never thought would come out of you. And you got to lose the pride. You got to lose the ego. It's actually an essential part of the process of being able to squirt. You have to lose your awareness of yourself sounding or looking a certain way.
And just go
you
with
have to
it.
not care. You're not going to look like a porn star in that moment. You're going to sound like a cow being pulled through a hedge. You're going to feel like one. But I mean, at the end of that, you're going to feel in fucking ecstasy. But if you can just let yourself go, just like let it loose. That's when you can squirt. And of course, technique is part of it, but technique's really only 20%. 80% from the woman requires her to lose
her inhibitions,
lose self-consciousness, like lose your self-conscious thought of how do I look right now? How do I sound right now? Do I not look sexy right now? Do I not? How am I coming across? Do I have ripples on my stomach from,
Yeah.
You have to lose that. Otherwise, you're not going to squirt. There's a release that needs to happen, and it kind of feels like your water's breaking. Like if you're pregnant, it feels like your water broke. It feels like you're peeing yourself. That's how you know you're on the right track to squirting. And once you get that, man, I guess that's what they call the big O. But it's not until I had that experience that I was like, that's the big O. All right.
Look at the smile on your face.
Yeah, it's good. And sex is very healthy.
But with new flowers comes weeds. Fling it really into the squirting thing, huh?
Thank you for the weeds analogy. So
what is this? A class in...
What is this? A class in origami?
He's very smart.
Okay, cool.
Well,
let's go with this. This question here again from Eric. What with new flowers comes weeds? So
that's
this
true.
is a whole metaphor I have about the weeds. Ready?
Okay.
All right. So weeds in a garden, they come from resentment. Okay. Two things kill all things in a garden: rage and resentment.
The 2 R's.
Yes. Most of the time, we all have both. Okay. But women carry more rage, generally.
Really?
Men carry more resentment. And here's how it works.
Really?
Yeah. So rage is like Mount Vesuvius.
Okay.
It's a volcano. it bubbles, there's lava in there. We are so good at holding things down and being patient and being loving and processing our own shit and going and screaming in our cars and going and working out or getting together with our girls groups.
Yeah.
Okay, we vented out over wine with our girls who are like, yeah, I got that same shit going on. And we come home and we reprocess and we regroup, right?
Okay.
One day something happens where it's just too much for us, and especially around our periods. Okay? And we lose it. And when we lose it, it's this like explosion of lava, of emotion, okay? It's emotional. We get emotional when we've said to you 1,000 times, I need to be heard on your note, okay? Mm-hmm. And if you don't feel heard on that 8 millionth time, and you maybe have your defenses are down that day,
yeah,
all of the emotion's gonna come out, and the guy's gonna be sitting there like fucking poor Pompeii, being annihilated by this lava. You can feel bad for the guy sitting there being like, blown back by this. I didn't know this was all there. And you're like, but you did! Because I've talked to you about it so many times. That's the rage, okay? All women are bi, and we just have to figure out whether it's sexual or polar. Ha, ha, ha. That is kind of true.
I'm bilingual.
And also, it's the men that drive us mainly crazy. I will tell you that right now. We are generally crazy, but the good kind of crazy.
The first time a girl squirt on I thought I broke it. Oh.
Yeah, I bet. Well, you did a good job then, Mr. Eric. So on this note, so women get into this rage. We get into the emotional spewing, right? Well, you can feel bad for the person in front of the spew.
Yeah.
But in general, I feel the worst for the volcano. Because you're the one, when you have an emotional throw up like that, who feels the worst?
The person
you do.
Up.
Yeah. Afterwards, you walk in such shame that you lost your shit like that. That's rage, okay?
Did you see
almost
Marriage
have
Story?
an out-of-body... No, not yet. I will. I've been hearing about it.
Oh, God.
You have like an out-of-body experience in rage where you can actually watch yourself losing it, but you're just so out of your mind with how many times you've had to say this or just all the elements that you've constantly contained and processed and released. There's just too much sometimes and you just explode. This is mainly women.
Okay.
Men mainly have resentment, and what resentment is a slow poison in the garden. It's weeds. So when resentment occurs, it is very, very hard to detect in men and women. You have to do a lot of good, astute work inside to be very acutely aware of when you have a feeling happening that could cause resentment. It's little moments like the other person always gets to make the choice, and you never get to make the choice of where you sit or where you guys go to dinner or just little things like that.
To a TV show.
Little things at a time are what build resentment. And if the person is not acute enough in themselves to go, this kind of bothers me, and then comes to their partner and says, this kind of bothers me, then most of the time we just stuff it down.
That's not fair. That's not fair to the person if you're not sharing how you feel.
But we don't do it because these little instances are so minute, one at a time, that we oftentimes as people don't want to rock the boat. It may be like a new relationship or like everything else is good, so you don't want to
pick your
go
battles.
there yet.
My mother said, pick your battles.
Right, and that's assuming that battles have occurred already that you have to pick. I'm talking about relationships that maybe there haven't been battles yet, but this thing is a growing resentment. You have to be aware of it in yourself that it's growing, and then you have to have the wherewithal to come to your partner and say, this bothers me. Most of the time we don't, because we don't want to rock the boat. So what happens? It's a slow growing weed in your garden under the surface. You can't see it from the surface. So your wife or boyfriend or husband or partner, they can't see it. They don't think it's there.
So
they don't know it's there.
It's kind of on the volcano's part not to share.
And the weeds in the garden's part not to share. Yeah. We have to share what's causing the rage. We have to share what's causing the resentment before it turns into resentment or rage. Rage is not a thing. It's rusty, dusty, old anger. Rage is old anger. Rage is not a thing. Anger is a thing. If you can address when you're angry, every time you're angry, it doesn't turn into rage.
You know where I was wrong? With my second fiance? I had little resentments that build up.
So you had that.
Yeah.
So eventually at some point you can look now at this metaphor and you can look back on your relationship and go, how did my resentments manifest? How did those weeds come to the surface?
I probably should have addressed, I probably put down what I wanted. Like you said, like kind of.
That was your line then eventually as to why you folded, right? You stuffed down what you felt. Yeah. So you actually maybe didn't also feel heard because you weren't sharing your full truth.
So maybe it was on me.
It's always on us. That's the other thing. It's a hard lesson to learn. But most of the time, we don't realize the power we have over our own lives to change.
And maybe I was just upset with myself that I wasn't sharing to him what I truly needed. And then one day
that's it.
I got mad at me.
We're the anger and the pain and the hurt and everything, it's normal to put it on the other person for a good long while. Eventually, while you're processing it though, you come back to yourself and you realize I should have done this or I could have done that. And you realize you're angry with yourself for not. And then the ultimate process is you keep going with that to the point where you then go, I forgive myself for not knowing.
Yes.
I forgive what I didn't know because now I know. And then you can love yourself for knowing it. Those are the learning experiences we gain mostly from relationships.
Yes.
That's the full circle. The full circle is when you can say to yourself, I forgive myself for not knowing that. And I love that I've just learned this lesson. Now it's part of me. I can move forward whole.
Yes. Like my little aha moment, FYI, is that I realized in your talking that I genuinely had a lot of resentment from my fiance. And I probably could have shared with him more of these resentments and worked through them
as they grew.
Yeah, so they didn't build up.
It's harder. That was what I was going to say. It's harder to do later once you realize there are so many weeds. They've become little shop of horrors. Feed me the person at this point. You want to kill them.
Yeah.
You are not happy with this person, but they don't know it because it's under the surface. Except nothing new can grow in the garden. You try planting these new flowers, making new trips. Things are not working in your relationship. You don't know why. Your partner's shut off. You guys aren't connecting. You're not communicating. So you think, let's go on a trip. That's you trying to plant a new flower. It doesn't work. The flower will die within weeks because the weeds under the surface are going to kill it. They're taking all of the life out of your garden. That's what weeds are. Okay? Now, here's the biggest metaphor for it. When you do realize that these weeds are in the garden, but you can't quite figure out what to do with them. You don't know how to kill the resentment that has been built over the years. Resentment's a sneaky bastard.
Yes.
It doesn't happen overnight. It happens over the years, okay?
You got to address it.
By the time you realize it, it's been killing the garden, it's not too late. But most people don't know how to address it. So you know what they do? They get their scissors, their clippers, and they cut off the weeds at the surface. What does that look like in a relationship? It means you have a good talk and you say, I'm really sorry that you feel this way, and I'm sorry that this happened, and yes, I'm going to do so much better, and we're going to do better because now we've resolved this. We went on this trip and we figured this out, or we had a dinner together and we talked a little bit, or we had that fight and then we had makeup sex, and now it's all good. Yeah. Resentment is years and years of stuff, or slow building things. It doesn't get fixed in a night. That's you getting your scissors out and clipping it at the surface. What happens in nature when you clip weeds at the surface and don't yank them out from the ground up?
They grow back.
They grow back more. Clipping them at the surface is like fucking pouring Miracle Grow on the weeds.
Whoa.
So just thinking you can put a Band-Aid over it by going on a date, by having one conversation about it, by going on that trip, by selling your house and moving somewhere else because you want a fresh start with that person, that's cutting it off at the surface. You got to go into therapy. And if you don't have the money for it, then you get some self-help books together and you do the work yourselves. And what that generally looks like is get your freaking pickaxe out and put your hard hat on and your gloves, and you're going to get dirty in the ground. You got to get down there and actually pull out the weed from where it grew.
That's hard.
It's very hard because the resentment actually initially grew from somewhere. The first weed that ever grew is under that surface connected to one particular root. And what that root generally looks like is...
Your parents.
Definitely. That's your own work to do, though.
Yeah.
But you're at least getting down deep enough where you can see the original root that person triggered from your original deep root from your parents. And you can go, oh, that's my inadequacy root. The resentment that has grown because I've done the work to get down deep and my hands are dirty and you're in here with me. We're in the trenches together. We're doing this work, either in therapy or through self-help yourself, or listen to podcasts. They have so many now for free on marriage counseling, or individual counseling, going into your own deeper work. You get into the ground, you see that maybe this resentment that was slowly caused by this person over time is out of your inadequacy complex, let's say. Your inadequacy root that your parents grew. You're either aware of that already or you're not. But even if you're not aware of it, you can see that it comes from this inadequacy because you've gone down into yourself enough to realize, I guess these instances occurred when the first time we went on a date, I wasn't allowed to pick the restaurant we went to or like the meal that I got to eat. Like you kind of made me feel bad for choosing a particular meal, and then I chose something else just to make you happy. And I realized now that was the beginning of the resentment study. And the resentment is basically me feeling controlled by you and having my autonomy taken away. And why that triggers my inadequacy root is that it triggers me feeling like I can't make my own decisions. Like I'm not good enough to make my own decisions. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm stupid. I'm inadequate. I need your control over me to do this. I didn't realize it till I did my own work, that's the root that it's triggering. That root comes from dad or mom or whatever.
Yeah.
But you're triggering the root, and it's my fault that I didn't see early on enough that that's what was happening. But it's also my fault, and you say this to yourself.
Yeah, because
it's my fault that I didn't stop myself to actually work early on. Or just say,
honey, I'm actually going to order the fish, not the steak, or whatever.
Well, when you have an inadequacy root, you don't see that right away. It's later you have to look and go, oh, these things that I allowed to happen. Here's a great quote for you. Everything we're treated like, we're allowing.
Yeah.
So ultimately, you can hate that person for treating you this way. You can have resentment towards them for treating you this way. But ultimately, you have to look in yourself at what you need to grow in the areas that you let them treat you like that. You have to go inside and go, why did I let him treat me like that? Why did I let him make me choose the steak instead of the fish?
Right.
Why did I let him make me feel bad when I wanted the burger?
Right.
You know what I mean? He made me feel inadequate, like I wanted that burger, but then he made me feel like I shouldn't eat it because maybe he thinks I'm fat. Why do I allow those thoughts to happen to me? That's when you can do your own work and go, well, fuck that shit. I'm great, and I want a burger.
Here's one thing, I don't know if anybody likes it or can relate to it, but I remember one relationship, he would get upset with me if I wouldn't have dessert, or I would eat French fries with him, and I'm like, I want to stay in shape, and he was like, well, this isn't fun. So he
would shame you for the opposite.
But I still wouldn't eat the French fries or the dessert.
Yeah, you're like, fuck you, buddy, I'm going to do what I want.
Yeah, but I thought it was weird that he was like
judging you for it.
Well, he felt like he couldn't enjoy the experience
without you doing it.
Right. Is that a little needy?
Yeah, it's needy. That's an easy way to put it, but it's also an indicator that he would need to do his own work to be autonomous, to not need you to do stuff.
Yeah, why do I have to have the dessert with him? Why can't,
let me be my own person.
I have no problem eating my own, hot cocoa. Or,
right.
I have no problem having the meal just be for me. I can eat my own meal. I don't need to have to share it.
The concept of do you, boo, comes from your own ability to do you. Right. That means you've done your own work to know what you is.
Right.
And that you love yourself enough that you're going to do it. If I want the burger, I'm going to eat the burger. I'm not the girl that's going to eat the salad because I'm afraid that the guy's going to think
I'm going to eat the burger, but I'm not going to eat the French fries.
Right, sure, yeah. I mean, to be logical.
Yeah.
But I'm not the girl that's going to eat the salad in fear that the guy's going to think I'm a pig.
No.
Because if the moment I feel that guy is going to judge me for it, I ask myself, I check myself, and I go, why would I be going to that thought in myself right now? What do I need to heal in myself right now to check myself on that thought? Don't judge yourself, Alicia. Love yourself. You want that burger. It's okay. Cheeseburger. That's when you check yourself inside. You check your thoughts and you go, oh, that's like in my own head I just created that this guy's going to think I'm a pig.
Yes.
Now the other thought that comes in is if the guy has already showed you some judgments about other people. If he's a judgmental fuck, or if she's a judgmental bitch, that's already indicating to you they haven't done enough of their own work. And you don't want them judging you. So that thought's going to come in, oh, maybe I shouldn't order the cheeseburger. He's going to judge me too for being like a fat ass or whatever. Red flag, red flag, red flag. If that goes off in your head, you don't want to date that person. They're going to be judgy. That means they need to do their own work. The more judgmental people are, the less work they've done on themselves. It really actually means the more judgmental they are on themselves deep inside.
Yeah.
Subconsciously, the more unhappy they are with themselves.
Yes.
So the more miserable somebody is, the more kvetchy, the more judgy. How you treat your servers at a restaurant, biggest indicator of somebody being generally an asshole or a bitch. They're not happy with themselves. They're not happy people. How you treat your servers, how you treat your wait staff at a restaurant, it's a big indicator of somebody not
I was told by a guy
inside.
that I'm too nice to he said I was too nice to the help.
And that's more of an indication of him than you.
Yeah.
I hope you took it that way. I hope you looked at him.
He said
and
I was
thought,
too friendly to the help.
I hope you looked at him and thought, what does that indicate about that guy? And I hope you saw that as a red flag.
He was just a friend, really, but
right. But even in general, you can scan people and just go, oh wow, that statement shows me they're not like on that journey inside to like non-judging and compassion, empathy. These are the things that make us whole beings. We learn the most through our aversive relationships.
Yes.
We learn the most through partnerships in general.
I agree.
Good or
I
bad.
agree.
Okay.
100%.
We get fucked up by our parents.
Yep.
And our teachers and peers growing up. But we learn the most from our relationships. Whether you're with that person or not, whether they were good for you or not, you're going to learn all of your life lessons through your children and through your relationships.
I agree.
And we're all in that boat. So if you are with somebody that's not doing that work, you can tell right away. If you're doing the conscious work every night to repack your suitcase full of stuff, you know what's in there, you know what you can let go of, you know what you need to repack to make it more equally distributed in weight, you know that work, and you love your suitcase at this point because you know everything in it, it is highly detectable to you when somebody wants to walk with you and they are not doing the same work. They have no idea what's in that suitcase. Lumpy pile of crap behind them that they're yelling at life about, and what happened to them is so unfair, when really we all have our own suitcase full of stuff. So if you're still griping about how unfair it is that you have a suitcase, number one sign, I don't need to walk with this person.
I like that.
They need to.
Do you want to walk with that person? That's pretty. Did you make that up?
Yeah, I make everything up. I make everything up.
Well, no, last time you said you're only sick as your secrets. I heard that before.
And I even said that's a quote I heard.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'll always quote something when it's not mine. But I live by metaphor.
I remember everything too. You said you remember everything?
I remember everything. Yeah.
I remember a lot.
But you see, you didn't remember that I said it's a quote. That
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you said I always, so I was like, I remember you said something that wasn't you.
That's true. Yeah, no, and I'm a huge fan of Carl Jung's work. Carl Jung is my guy in the psychoanalytic realm of therapy. He brought symbolism to mainstream psychology.
Yeah.
Symbolism is metaphors. So if you can use any kind of imagery to imagine life, it helps us understand
you're great
the journey.
You're great at that.
And I love my metaphors.
I like the garden and I like the root and cutting it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So that goes to show you, though, let's see, men are like a Nintendo. We just pull the game carriage out, blow it off, and stick it back in. Good to go.
What does that mean?
What does that mean? I wish I was a guy sometimes, Eric. For that reason, I marvel at my husband who can shut out what fight just happened or whatever.
Right. Oh, compartmentalize.
They compartmentalize. So my problem with that, though, is it's not quite healthy at the end of the day, because that stuff doesn't really go anywhere and it causes resentment. And that's why I said most men have resentment. So you think you're blowing it off and sticking it back in the cartridge for a new game. That dust settles. That dust settles. It settles in you. Now, you're the type that, from your metaphor of the garden, I can see that you've done a lot of your own personal work. And I love that you're digging the metaphors too. So what that really means to me is just be aware that, you guys don't, as a mechanism, you may know how to compartmentalize and stuff, but the more open you are with the the dust that is in the cartridge, the more open you are with the stuff that you've had to do in the garden when you cleaned everything out, the more home in that garden you're going to be. The more you're able to play a real game when you stick your cartridge back in, that you haven't just like, deleted all the stuff that just occurred. Your whole story is your whole being, your whole journey is you. So if you can integrate everything that you've done and apply that to everything you are today and be open and whole with it and like mindful of it and not just like, oh, well, new day, start fresh, new cartridge. Let's forget the dust that settled back there.
Shove it under the rug.
Right? Then the more healthy you're going to be in the future to create all new things in a new garden. And I'm sure right now you're in a garden by yourself and you're loving every speck of it because you've cleaned it all out and you're not welcoming anybody new in that's not worthy of being there and knows how to garden with you.
So being a therapist, are you the roundup? What does that mean?
I don't know what the roundup means.
What
if somebody can rephrase that?
Yeah.
I don't know what
if
that
he
is.
just wanted to share the experience of the dish he likes and thought you might enjoy. That being said, I'd order you that burger and fries because I know you have the energy to burn it off.
So totally different if somebody's saying, oh, try this, you're going to like this. Instead of saying, try this, you're going to like it better than what you chose. See the difference?
Say the last part again.
It's different when the guy or the girl is saying, oh, try this, you're going to like it. Versus, oh, try this, you're going to like it better than what you chose. You're gonna want this more than what you chose.
I think there's something there with you on
I'm
someone.
using it. No, not at all. No.
Okay.
This is like
it's just one of your
complete
analogies.
Metaphor for any situation. You can apply this to any situation. That's why I'm choosing some monotonous.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. Okay, so we've got a girl. Ooh. This girl says,
like,
I jumped in midway or at the end. I'm so doing that. Caving to some things I don't necessarily want to do. Good.
Because I know he's going through something and I'm being nice. I'm trying to decide how long I want to be nice for.
Oh!
Great topic on that note. So we are super patient as women. And I can't just say for women, this is not a gender exclusive thing. The more work you've been through in other relationships, men and women, the more wherewithal we have to see where somebody's struggling, and if we like them and we see their potential, because we do fall for potential, both men and women. Both men and women do this. We have the wherewithal. We decide at the beginning, okay, I see that they're going through stuff, but I like what I'm getting from them in these ways, or I think there's a value here to sticking it out for a bit and giving him the grace or giving her the space or giving them the patience, the time, the whatever they need. Especially if they've just gone through some hard, experience in life.
Yes.
When to, let up on being what you call nice. It's not being nice, it's being aware. And it's deciding for ourselves as we go into the relationship, I think there's value here. But I'm willing to put a certain amount of time and work in. We'll see how it goes. And keep checking in with yourself. And those check-ins might include, is he or she growing? Is the value that I first saw is present and potential? Is that happening?
Is it actually happening?
Is it happening?
Yeah.
Now, if it's not because maybe they're really struggling and you've offered help and you've offered arms to hold and space to hear them out, and there's still not anything like moving forward, and you've offered external help. Hey, let's go to a therapist. Let's, there's this great workshop retreat happening. That
Yeah.
And if they're not interested in it, but they're only kind of relying on you to carry them or carry their suitcase for them.
Yeah.
You got your own suitcase. You've got your own
Can you pack the suitcase?
No, you can show them how to pack though. You can show them how to pack. You can actually help them get down and unzip the suitcase and see what's in there. And you can sit and hold it with them as they pull it out and go, oh my God, that's what my mom gave me when I can't look at that. I haven't seen that in 30 years. Good. You can sit there and hold it with them and go, ew. Wow, so tell me more about that. Or oh, I'm so sorry that you've held on to that so long.
That's empathy.
It's broken.
That's empathy.
I'm here to hold that with you. Yeah,
that's sweet.
That kind of stuff can build a relationship better than anything else. When you're there for them while they're going through the stuff that they've just thrown in their suitcase after all this time and they've never looked at it, but they finally have a partner that can look at it with them and hold it with them. that can build so much connection. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'm not going to say which relationship, but I will say I was in a relationship where I was moving out of this apartment into their house. And I thought we were going to get married. And I thought, oh, I'll show him like me in first grade. And he had no interest in seeing any of that stuff. And I already made the decision I was going to move in.
Did that kind of break your heart?
It did.
In the moment or later? Did you feel it in the moment? Or like,
It
did
broke
you not
my
like
heart.
yourself?
It broke my heart. I was like, I thought this guy really loved me and would want to like see some mementos or some things in my
It was
past.
personal to you that he had no
he was just
interest.
like, let's just, he just said, let's just get, he didn't.
What did you end up doing with that feeling? Did you address it with him? Did you hold on to it?
I think I carried the resentment.
The resentment.
I think I did.
And then what ended up happening?
I ended up ending it.
So when did you realize that was a moment for you that you can look back on and even tell a story about now?
Well, no, I just think about it now.
Really? You haven't thought about it
No,
at all?
Until just now.
Really?
Yeah. The moment, your whole thing you just said
That's
was
beautiful.
the whole memento. You said how you're
That's
unpacking
beautiful.
the luggage and you wanted to share.
You just found something in your suitcase that you've been holding on to.
Yeah, that right
really
there.
hurt.
That right there. And if I met a guy that wants to like go
Hold it with you.
yeah, then
Oh my God,
I'm
this
done.
is everything.
I'm done.
Okay.
Done.
This is everything.
Done.
Anybody who's paying attention right now, this is applied to every one of our lives. What Flynn is feeling right
Well,
now.
after what you said.
She has just organically discovered something in her suitcase she didn't even know.
Well, I knew
was
but
still
didn't know.
there.
I mean,
Consciously. I'm talking about consciously.
I knew I had messed up.
But I'm
When I was
talking about,
I was moving into his house.
Yeah.
I was agreeing. I've never lived with a guy before.
Yeah.
I was agreeing to be his girl.
Yes, and this meant a lot to you that if I'm your girl, you're going to love all of me and you're going to want to see me as a baby.
I thought he'd want to
kid
see
and-
some of those things.
Yes.
And he was just all business. And then 2 weeks after I was living with him. Anyway, I'm probably sharing too much.
No, go ahead.
No, I don't know.
It came out later, 2 weeks living with him, that he is insensitive in these ways that meant something to you, that he should be sensitive in. Obviously, it started to sink in more and more that this is not the guy for you in the ways that your heart needs to be held. Now, that's the big key, okay?
Yes.
When I said earlier, you give somebody that you think is going to be an partner, you give them the roadmap to your heart. You literally say, I think that you can hold my heart. I would like you to have the job. So here's my heart in the middle of this map. Here are the roads not to take. Because if you take these roads, it's going to hurt.
I didn't know.
right?
He had me think that he would have cared about those kind of mementos because he wanted to see the first house I lived in.
Right.
So maybe he was disinterested in, I don't know, but I really thought
but what I'm trying to say is, maybe I'll use a different metaphor than roads on a map. You literally give somebody the chance to hold your heart.
I did.
Your heart is going to be different to everybody else's.
Right.
Everybody has a different need in there.
Right.
We have different ways our hearts need to be held. When you find somebody that you want to give the job to, you really hope that they show up to learn what these ways to hold your heart are.
Yeah.
You really hope that when you finally do go, okay, here's how to hold it, here's what it needs, that the other person's going, oh my God, thank you.
Or
Thank you.
what if you meet someone that shows you how you want to be loved? You don't even know. Has that ever happened to you? Or
100%.
someone shows you like, oh wow, this is what love is supposed to feel like.
Yes.
Whoa.
But also, very important to make a stance here. If you already know how your heart needs to be held,
Yeah.
they can show you new ways that you didn't even know that you love being loved, but they also need to hold your heart the way you know it needs to be held. That doesn't get taken away. Things get added to. Okay? Love is a this and that. It's an and, it's not an or. Take that in. Love is an and. This and that. It's not a this or that.
Oh.
It's not a compromise like that. You're not compromising your self-worth or what your heart needs to feel loved in itself. In its real heart, in its real childhood heart. Okay? Our hearts are children. They're the most vulnerable parts of us. There are 7-year-old children inside. They are us at 7. Okay? They're innocent. They're pure. Our hearts are so beautiful and pure and innocent and loving. They are full of love. They've been hurt. They've been beaten. They've been bruised. They've been neglected. They've been abandoned. They've been thrown aside. You got to love it yourself where you were not loved right. You got to love your heart where it was not loved right. Once you know the ways your heart needs to be loved in the ways it was not loved right, once you start doing that, and you give somebody the opportunity to love it with you, you can literally clearly tell them, here's how I need to be loved. You're not compromising that, because if you start compromising that, you're compromising your self-love, you're compromising your self-worth. That's when to fold. Okay? If the person you've chosen, when you compromise your self-love, your self-worth.
Yeah. Self-worth really speaks to me. Yeah.
Self-worth, and that's the gateway to self-love. Self-worth is your love for yourself. How worthy you know you are is your love for yourself. It's your journey you've taken to find yourself.
Yeah.
And your journey means everything to you.
Yeah.
Once that's the whole thing I was telling you. When you start to undo your suitcase every night, and you know the things that are in there, like right now you just found a beautiful memento, a cracked, old, beaten up album. Okay? It's beaten up. It's not intact. It's a photo album. It's beaten up. You didn't know consciously that was in there in your suitcase.
Oh, when I said that,
yeah.
When I
so
realized...
now what you're going to do is you're going to take it and hold it, and you're going to look through it yourself. In other words, you're going to hold this feeling tonight and go, that meant a lot to me that he didn't want to see that. Why did it mean a lot to me? This is metaphorically you looking through your album yourself. And you're going, why did it mean a lot to me? I think it's because if you love me, then you're going to be really interested in the whole me. And you're going to see that there's this little girl in me that wants to be seen. And you're going to love and cherish that by looking through my pictures and making me feel validated in these ways that my heart needs. My heart needs to feel like my heart needs to feel like I'm seen and heard. And I need to feel validated. This is how it would have validated me, but now I'm validating myself because I'm looking through this photo album. I'm validating myself as I'm laying in bed tonight, thinking about that moment today with Alicia, and I'm thinking, why was that important to me?
Oh, it devastated me. It devastated me.
But now I realize it's because anybody that loves me needs to understand how I need to feel validated and loved in that way. Well, and now that I know, it's really important to me that I hold that for the next person I date.
I 100% agree, and I think it's also really important to find out how they need to be held.
Oh, it's
right?
100% back
or is it
forth.
Just give them a blowjob? Is it pretty easy?
Men are very easy in certain ways. In other ways, not. But all of us are complicated.
True.
Humans are complicated. Your journey is to find how you are complicated, who complicated you and how, where is it your heart was not loved right, learn to love it yourself. Metaphors like the suitcase really help. And now, tomorrow, you can literally, or tonight after you're done reflecting on this, metaphor, see your suitcase, open it back up, and now you're going to place the photo album into the case someplace that you know is there and that it's safe. So I want you to zip it up, maybe in the side compartment, so it's not rolling around or shuffling around or pictures aren't flying everywhere in your case. Now you're consciously aware of that hurt and what that moment meant to you, and you're going to love it yourself. So you're putting it back in the case in the right place where it's going to be safe and held, so that next time you have somebody that you really want to share that with, you know where it is in the case, and you know how to set it up for yourself and for them, where you go, I've tried to share this with people before and they didn't see it, and I'd love you to see it because this holds a very special treasured place in my suitcase. There's a lot of stuff I don't know in there yet, but this is one thing I have found, and I'm holding it, and I would love to see, I'd like to share it with you. I'd like to share that this is something I hold sacred about my own heart and my own needs.
And I think it's also equally important to find out his little...
But that's when these conversations can occur. One person has to bring it.
Yeah. And then the person brings it.
And then the other person brings it and goes, oh my God, you have that? That's so beautiful that you realize that that's like a validation that you needed I can give you. Mine, and he like reaches over to his
Here's me when I was a
suitcase.
kid. Here's me with acne.
Not even. Doesn't even have to reflect yours. It has to reflect some equal place in him that his heart needed healing.
Oh.
Okay? So his doesn't have to be validation, but yours now sparked him sharing. So he's going to go, that's so cool that you found out that was like a hurt that caused, a need for validation, and that you could find that yourself and you kept it so sacred in your case. And he opens his case and he goes, here's something that I discovered that is like really shattered. It's a pocket watch of my grandfather's.
Right.
And the pocket watch symbolized, and it stopped. It doesn't work anymore. It kind of reminds me of like all the times that I was left alone at home and feeling like totally neglected. That like this stopped old watch is just broken, and no, I was gonna say like broken and neglected. Nobody ever fixed the watch.
Oh.
You have to come up with these metaphors yourself, and they don't even have to make sense.
Right.
You're not really gonna see objects every time you go into it.
Right.
But just seeing this story right now, you can understand you sharing, hey, me looking through this photo album really meant something to me, and it wasn't seen, and I felt really like it hurt my heart in the deepest way because of my need for validation with the person that sees me and wants me to feel seen and loved and heard. When you share that with somebody, it inspires them, if they're also on their own inner, like deeper communicative, connective, they want to connect on deeper levels journey. They're going to be inspired by that story, and they're going to want to share something with you about where their heart got hurt. My heart got hurt because I was neglected. And what means something to me is when somebody holds me because I didn't get held enough. Because mom and dad were never there. So when I just gave you the metaphor of him sharing his beaten up pocket watch, that's that. That's that story of him going, I was never held. Like my mom and dad were never home. I felt like I just kind of raised myself. I was a latchkey kid, you're really getting to know that person right now. They're sharing their heart. And so you now know how to hold them, literally and figuratively. You know how to hold their heart by hearing from them that they never got held, so they really want to feel held. It's one of the most important things for them. And equally, you've shared one of the most important things for you.
Yeah,
and
he wants to be held, he needs to be seen, or whatever.
That's it, validation. And now, because you remember, I told you there are 3 roots, 3 weeds that grow out of your main root. When you're born, you're whole. 3 things happen that create these weeds in the garden that grow forevermore. Abandonment, rejection, and inadequacy. Abandonment and rejection are not the same thing, but they're kind of linked. Abandonment is literally you felt abandoned, you felt neglected.
Right.
Rejected is like a sister of that. You feel rejected when you feel neglected or abandoned, but generally rejection is like full on, I tried this and that person or that thing rejected me. Like I'm a reject. Okay, that's not the same as I feel abandoned.
Gotcha.
You see the difference?
Yes.
And so then self-loathing comes out of that. So when you've been rejected, you are a self-loather, big time. We all actually hate ourselves in so many ways, but self-loathing generally directly comes out of feeling like a reject in peer groups, not being picked for the school,
or on a teams,
when you were 5 in 5th grade, and kids are real jerks around that age, and and then inadequacy generally happens from a parent making you feel like you're not good enough. Throughout our lives, those 3 things begin to grow, and they will develop into all of our relationships, and our habits, our behaviors will manifest out of these.
Or an hour and 15 minutes.
Okay. So all you need to do is recognize this, that we all have these 3, one more than another, and then know that the more you go into your suitcase lovingly and with conscious thought to go, how do I move some things around in here where I can be aware of what's in here? Where did my heart get hurt? Where did I feel bad in this? Like, where did this moment make me feel heartbroken? Or why did this sit with me so much? And you can literally replace the things that are rolling around in your suitcase and making things heavy. You can put them in new places Sometimes you're going to pick it up and go, I don't even need this anymore. That's been holding a lot of weight, either because I didn't even know it was there, or I actually learned that lesson a long time ago. I got rid of that.
That's
when
awesome.
when I went to that workshop for that
awesome.
healing.
That's
I can roll that down the mountain, give it a proper burial, whatever. So bottom line is, when to fold is when...
Good girl. Bringing it home.
Yeah. When to fold is when you're doing all that work that we just talked about. And the other person just isn't. And you've tried, but you can't do the work for them. You can't...
Are there relationships where it's just easy?
You can't repack their suitcase for them.
Is there a relationship where
Yes,
it's easy?
easy means your luggage doesn't match.
I was going to say match.
Doesn't match aesthetically, but matches in the way that it complements each other. It complements each other.
Complements it up.
If your need for validation complements his need for physical affection and holding, perfect.
Yep.
Okay. If your incessant need to repeat yourself because you're afraid you're not being heard.
That's me.
Okay. If you repeat yourself,
I do.
I have that complex too.
Well, I'm also OCD.
Me too.
Look at I'm wearing a hat.
I see. It's cute. That's really cute. If your OCD tendencies drive your partner crazy, but they have patience with you because equally you have patience with their sloppiness or their lack of ability to schedule anything. They're scatterbrained. They're not focused.
Right.
You're patient with that, and he's patient with you being OCD.
Yeah.
Then you have luggage that matches.
Match made in heaven. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for the inspiration.
Okay, you're welcome, guys. What's this one? If you can get each other and expose your wounded hearts with each other. This person gets it. Hi, Doug.
Yeah.
Your hearts melt and bound. Yes, absolutely. What we were saying. Hold on. And I want to see more of that comment. And you might not... There it is. You might not end together, but you have created a deep heart bond. Oh, I love this guy. Have healed some and will appreciate each other forever. That's 100% true, and I'm sure that you've experienced it to have said something so profound on that. Yes, every time you show up to share yourself authentically, you make a bond with somebody that also is inspired to share themselves with you. And it doesn't even matter if you end up together, because the heart bond will always be there. And you'll always remember that person, even if you just spent a short period of time with them. They taught you and you taught them something just in the sharing.
Yes.
Just in the sharing. We are here on this planet to share our hearts, to learn what's in our hearts, and to share them with each other.
It's beautiful.
So the more work you can do on yourself to go home to your heart, where it hurts, what it needs to heal, you love it yourself where it did not get loved right, the more you can give that out in conversation and sharing with somebody else, who will then in turn be inspired to give it to you.
It's true.
And you can share your hearts.
Yes. That's beautiful.
And then we're not fucked up anymore. Like, we're always going to have that. But your journey is to heal yourself and others by healing yourself. We heal others by healing ourselves.
Agreed. Okay, so really quickly, I'm just going to say there is a speakeasy, and of course you're welcome to come. Yeah. Bring your husband, not your son. He's only 7. It's on March the 5th on Thursday.
I wanted to like his comment, but you can't do that, huh?
You go look through it and comment. You can comment on this. So the next speakeasy is March 5th at Santa Monica Playhouse. Eric, you don't have the. We can't. Oh, maybe I can do it. Can I do a cut and paste? No, maybe not. Okay. Anyway, I'll paste it. I'll paste it. Yes.
Next Thursday, there's a speakeasy. What time?
7 to 8 is tacos and open bar.
Ooh, yummy.
And then 8 to 9:30 is comedy.
Oh, fun.
Come.
And where is it again?
Santa Monica Playhouse.
All right, Santa Monica Playhouse next Thursday.
Is your hot self going to be there? I bet they'll come if you're going to be there.
Well, you're hot enough. I mean,
I don't know. I don't have all.
I'm not wearing a bra tonight.
I know. She's not wearing a bra. That was the first thing I noticed.
But the back is cute.
Yeah, the back is cute. Here, show them the back.
I don't know if you can see.
Yeah. Girl, you look good. Can you back that thing up? Hey, we didn't dance tonight, did we?
No, but we'll say goodbye like this. Hi, bye.
She's so shy.
I really appreciated being asked back tonight. And
Of course. Isn't she amazing?
I hope that you guys had a lovely
I was
heart center.
having epiphanies all over the place.
Yeah, but also I hope that everybody's hearts feel open right now.
Yeah.
Like mine feels super open. I feel yours. I feel yours open. I love that you found something tonight.
Oh, I found
from your suitcase.
lots of things.
Like you were a perfect person to say, like, oh my God, this is what happens. You see, she's just found something.
It was
She can
nutty
hold it
that you.
sacred now.
Yeah, you were like, you found the. Look, that lighting wasn't even on you. You know you feel special when you're sharing something that means a lot to you, and the person's like, whoa, that's so cool.
And let me show you what I found.
Yes, well, I have found that when I open up, whether it's a girl or a guy, whatever, then they kind of open up.
Absolutely.
Why is that? It's like just this ripple.
It's a natural, organic ripple effect.
When you open up,
We have an unbelievable power to change things. It's what Gandhi always said, be the change you wish to see in the world. How do you change people? You change yourself. How do you heal people? You heal yourself first, and then you share it with them. When you are home inside, you know who you are. You're sharing
snake drainers.
what
Okay.
you've learned. You're sharing yourself. You're sharing your heart. It naturally ripples to the next person. They will feel their hearts open, and they will want to share as well.
So the best thing we can do is be our best version of ourselves,
Yes.
work on ourselves, and then that will then...
It will get the ripple effect going. You are the ripple in the pond. Your healing of yourself and sharing of yourself
helps others.
Is the ripple in the pond that helps others.
It's a change
do the same.
agent. Yep.
Yes, and that's how one person at a time, one day at a time, we all get stronger and more healed together.
What did Kennedy say? It's not what
Together.
the country can do for you, it's what you can do for your country.
Yes, and it
That's
starts
it.
with what you can do for yourself.
Yep.
It comes down to the individual level on the micro scale, right? Individual, micro, all the way to societal, to cultural, to state, to national, country, and then world. Okay?
There we go.
So start with you. You share with, everybody, everywhere you go. The teller at the supermarket, smile at them and say, have a good day.
Be kind.
Be kind. Be kind to yourself. You will be kind to others. It is a ripple effect. Share with yourself what's inside that hurt, that you need to heal. Start to heal it yourself. Have those conversations with somebody that you want to connect with, and it will inspire them to open to you. And then that may inspire them with their heart open at that point, because you've just shared this soul moment, this like heart bond. It'll inspire them to go out and be a little bit nicer. It'll inspire them to go out and maybe have a conversation about, how to, not how to feel loved. What will happen is they'll just be more compassionate. It creates empathy. When you have an open heart that was inspired by a conversation, it's opened your heart. Like my heart's really open right now.
Mm-hmm.
The next person I see on the street,
It's going to benefit.
I'm going to be more empathetic
Or you might let them
towards them.
if you're driving, let them cut in front of you.
Yeah, and it does happen on menial levels like that all the time in our lives that either cause rage or resentment, or we're going to be nice. But on a bigger scale, on a more important one, it creates empathy that when somebody's not being very nice, and you just had this heart-centered moment, your heart is open, you, instead of reacting to it and going, oh, you piece of shit, you're going to look at them and go, oh, where does their heart hurt?
Yeah.
And even if you're not going to ask them that, because you're not going to ask a stranger that, you're not always going to have those moments.
But you're going to think,
you
maybe
think
they're going through something. They're going through something.
And let me just send them love and light and healing the way I can right now. Let me just send them a smile or step out of their way. Maybe they just need some space.
Yep.
And you don't take it personally. And you walk forward
Not
with
taking
love.
it personally is so key.
I told you about the 4 agreements last time. Don Miguel Ruiz, the 4 agreements. It's always do your best. Don't take anything personally. Don't assume anything. And be impeccable with your word.
Love that. I love all 4 of those.
Speak your truth. Don't assume it's about you.
No.
Don't take it personally if they walk by and don't say hello. They're having a shit day. It's not about you. It's not about you most of the time. And always do your best means, apparently we're cute. Always do your best means you show up on the daily.
Yep.
To do this work yourself. You check yourself constantly. You're having a bad moment. You've reacted to something. Go inside. Check yourself.
Feels like you know deep down what is. Keep digging.
Transcendent psychology, transformational psychology. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yes. The actual work of mine is based in integral psychology, which is mind, body, spirit. It's mind, body, spirit. Another word for that is, integral, and then there's integrative. So integrating mind, body, spirit experiences into what is the whole you. You're not just your mind. You're not just a bunch of circuits in your brain. You're not just your heart, which is where all your emotions are centered, and the heartbeat that you have that can heal the world. Okay?
The heart can heal the
Your heart can heal the world.
I love that. I love that.
Your heart can heal the world.
I think
you have to start by healing it yourself.
I think that's where we should end it right there. That's how can you top that?
And then your soul is the one watching you all the time and with you all the time.
So say those 3 things again, then we're gonna peace out. That was beautiful.
So you're not just your brain with all the circuits overthinking and running meticulously every day, which keeps us on this.
No. What are the 3 beautiful things you just said? Your
mind, mind, body, spirit is integrative.
No, the heart thing. Can you say that heart thing again?
You're not just your heart, and that's where I was going. Your heart can heal the world.
Your heart can heal the world.
Heal the world.
And then you said you have to heal it.
You have to heal your heart first.
Love that.
And then once you know what your heart needs to heal, you can give it to yourself all the time. That's Don Miguel Ruiz's always do your best. Keep giving yourself that love. Once you can do that, you can share with somebody else how you are loving yourself. You can share where you've been, where your heart's been hurt.
They'll see.
But you can share it. We don't share.
Yeah. We have to go.
We're not sharing with people not because we don't want to. We all desperately want to connect.
We all
desperately want to connect. We are not sharing because, first of all, we've not been taught to.
Okay, we got to stop.
But also because we're not sharing with ourselves first.
Ooh.
So.
Oh, say that again. That was good.
We're not sharing with ourselves first. So share with yourself first, then share with others. You will heal yourself and you will heal the world.
Beautiful.
One heart bond at a time.
She killed it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, you guys.
Bye,
you were
guys.
amazing.
Thank you.